Get into the papers now, see what the headlines are across Nigerian newspapers this morning. With me in the studio is our analyst here, Obaniyi Akinwale. Obaniyi, good morning.
Good morning.
Nice to see you.
Same here.
Great. And we also have joining us Ambrose, Igboke, PR consultant and public affairs analyst, joining us on Skype. Ambrose, good morning.
Good morning, Mike.
Great. Very good. Now, let's begin with the Blueprint newspaper now. Blueprint says, with hike in fuel price 24 hours after new electricity tariff, federal government has betrayed Nigerians. NLC is saying this. With hike in fuel price 24 hours after new electricity tariff, federal government has betrayed Nigerians. This is from NLC. From there, let's go to the Daily Times. How to unlock underutilized capital in real estate industry. How to unlock underutilized capital in real estate industry. That's the Daily Times. NewsDirect is next now. NewsDirect says price increase, controversy trails 152 naira a litre of PMS. NLC, PDP, reps minority caucus kick. And price hike is in the best interest of Nigerians, as the APC is saying this. Okay. I guess this will interest a lot of Nigerians, and as well as my guests, because this story has been generating a lot and lots of comments and opinion and perspectives. National economy is next now, and he says federal government targets $176 billion revenue from customs automation and approves a concession and a firm to run project for 20 years. As FEC okays 13 billion naira for safe tower equipment upgrades in 4 airports. That's the national economy. Leadership newspaper is next now. Leadership says Angst as marketers hike fuel price to 162 naira a litre. The BPMC pegs depot price at 151 per litre. Labour reps Nans, others reject increment. Right, Angst as marketers hike fuel price to 162 naira per litre. That's the story on the Leadership newspaper. Okay, from there, let's go to the Daily Trust. And that's the last one we're looking at now. Food security threatened as floods destroy farms. Rice, maize, sorghum, others affected. It's a major setback, President Buhari saying this, and farmers confused over loans. Experts urge governments to support dry season farming, and that will certainly involve a lot of irrigation and all of that. Now, that's the story. Our stories on the front page of the Daily Trust. All right, let's go to the discussion segment now on this topic that is generating a lot of comments and reaction from Nigerians. The story on the front page of the NewsDirect. Certainly, some of the papers also have it, but let's focus on the NewsDirect. Price increase, controversy trails 152 naira per litre of PMS, and the NLC, PDP, reps, minority caucus, they all kick. And the APC has said that the price hike is in the best interest of Nigerians. And I'd like to take it from there, Ni.
Let me start by saying 2020 will remain a year Nigeria will remember for the way the year played itself out. I remember a friend of mine, Otumba Ajala in Lorin, is an ardent follower of Senator Bukola Saraki. And we're having this chat and he said, Obaniyi, you see, the next level we are going to is next level of punishment. And
next level of punishment?
And I argue with him. You ask yourself, early this year, you have the issue of xenophobic attack in South Africa to Nigerian businesses. A particular South African mall was attacked in Surulere here in Lagos. MTN was shut down and what have you. A lot of people then lost their job either as MTN or at ShopRite or what have you. To rob sort of injury during the COVID, we discovered that the PHCN guys were asking for cost-reflective tariff, where Mr. Feng Gbajabiamila intervened for them to step down. I think on August 25th, I got a message from MultiChoice telling me that from 1st of September, I should expect a tariff hike in payment for bouquet. Yeah, you can say that is luxury. But to rub insult on all of us, on September 1, there was a memo from the next saying that they have started the MITO policy and cost has been increased for September, and we're also expecting another cost review in December. Now, federal government will now rub more salt on our injury by coming up to say, for everybody that collects 30,000 naira per month, you are only going to be allowed to buy 20 liters of petrol. You ask yourself various questions, and I'm not blaming federal government. I am happy that it is obvious now that, like one of my friends said yesterday, he said, we only have one ruling party in this country and one opposition. The only ruling party we have in this country as of today is APC. Call it ACN, call it CPC. And the only opposition...
But all those don't exist anymore.
Only opposition we also have in this country today is also APC. Because you ask yourself that what has happened to the Nigerian Labour Congress? What has happened to civil society, civil liberty organization, human rights activities?
Yeah, but on the other hand, if all of those, the NLC and the others, don't see anything wrong and they feel it doesn't warrant hitting the streets,
then if NLC says they see nothing wrong for a worker that's collecting 18,000 naira a month,
okay,
a loaf of bread has gone to 50 naira, a module of rice has jumped from 17,000 to 3,000.
Very good.
Now, a cost of transportation for people that have lost their job, that have cut their salary, has now been increased. Within the same year, from 138 to 150 to 162.
Okay, let me bring Ambrose in here. Ambrose, I know you're listening to what is going on generally, and I wonder what is going through your mind. Because at this time, it is quite difficult for all countries of the world when it comes to trying to find the balance, especially from the effect and impact of COVID-19 and all of that. The APC has said all the hikes are for the interest of the country.
Well, first of all, the APC, Nigerians will never forget in a hurry when in 2014, the APC told us that we are all going to go back to El Dorado, that Nigeria is going to be the new heaven when they take over power. And they painted the pictures that, in fact, they told that the landing cost of petrol, they did some calculation. I remember Professor Tam David West saying that the landing cost of fuel at Apapa was 40 naira, and that was something, and Nigeria should not have paid more than 40 naira per liter for fuel, that there's no subsidy and this and that. And then the Jonathan government reduced the fuel from 97 naira to 87 naira. They said, Nigeria said it was not enough. The APC told us that it was 40 naira. And then they took over power and they jettisoned all those rosy pictures they painted because stark reality hit them hard. Now, 6 years down the line, we have skyrocketed fuel price and it's tumbling. Let me make something clear. I may not be an economist, but I'm not a fool. The economists and those people who are saying that we cannot live with subsidy are telling us blatant lies. Everywhere in the world, government subsidizes their main export, their mainstay of the people. In America, the government still subsidizes agriculture heavily. In fact, between America and China, there was a time they had to report themselves to World Trade Organization that they're doing what we call international unfair practices in marketing because they were over-subsidizing. One country was accusing each other of over-subsidizing their farmers. Everywhere in the world, healthcare is subsidized during the insurance scheme. Welfare is subsidized. Everything in UK, in the countries we are trying to imitate economically, everything is subsidized. But our own economists here tell us, the World Bank will tell us that we don't need to subsidize anything. Our mainstay is petroleum. We don't need to subsidize. But they are not telling America and China they don't need to subsidize. China subsidized cotton a lot.
But Ambrose, if I have to butt in here, the point there is we have seen the impact or the effectiveness or the lack of it in the oil subsidy over the years. And Nigerians have, in fact, they themselves call for the removal of subsidies in oil.
Subsidy is not the problem. Okay. The problem are the managers of the subsidy. First of all, why should we have subsidy in petroleum prices in Nigeria? Because it is the failure of government over the years, successive government, to put in place simple things like refining petroleum products. It is not a rocket science to refine petrol. So if government has failed to refine petrol locally and are importing it from overseas, it is the function of the government to make sure that the Nigerian citizen does not pay for their own acts of neglect in terms of the job function that Nigeria gave to them. We gave them to have better life. We gave them job for us to have security and other things. So if they have failed to ensure that all our refineries were working, it is not the fault of the common man. Therefore, they must subsidize because they are the ones that failed to make the refineries go on. A single individual, a single entity is building a massive refinery in Lagos. Why can't government maintain and sustain the four refineries we have in the country? So it beggars the question for those who are arguing that subsidies to do it. Subsidies are done in America and everywhere, as I've said. It is the managers of the subsidy who are the government that are the people who are making the subsidy look like a monster. Subsidy is a beautiful thing in economics because it helps the people to cushion the effects of harsh realities. Therefore, subsidy should not be the victim here. It is the government that is not running it very well that should be the should look at.
All right, Ambrose, let me put you on hold. The issue of subsidy and oil and all of that, if we narrow it down to the issue of refineries, the point there is the refineries we have, the 4 refineries we have are not working at optimum. And everyone is waiting for Dangote refineries to take off. And just a few days ago, we hear there's going to be another one by another investor in Akwa Ibom State and all of that. Are we going to see a new dawn when these refineries take off? There
is no new dawn. See, every business in Nigeria is always shooting in secrecy. And at the end of the day, Nigerians will pay for it. Let me give you an instance. Omoto power plant in just nearby us here has a government contract that the government will be able to consume this amount of energy. And if government refuse to consume it, they must pay them this amount of naira. Few days ago, they found guys were on street saying that don't privatize this industry. We've privatized NEPA, we see where we are today. We've privatized NITE, we see where we are today. Now, in terms of subsidy, government is not subsidizing anything. If you look at the cost of turnaround maintenance for NNPC refinery in Kaduna and Port Harcourt from 2000 till date, it's more than cost of building a new refinery. So who is subsidizing who? Is the presidency, the ministers, the National Assembly members not subsidizing their cost of living in Abuja? Are they not subsidizing the salaries and what have you? What happens to that poor man on the street? His only salary is 18,000. Okay. What happens to that guy that have lost his job? You have increased electricity, so you are saying you stay in darkness, that it is electricity is now luxury.
This discussion
petroleum is now
will
luxury.
Go ahead.
Now we don't know what's going to happen again in this September because September has a lot to offer for us. A lot of next level is going to happen.
Okay. Now those who are concerned certainly will be looking at.
They are never concerned. They are never concerned. And I think it's high time that the likes of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar look themselves in the face. Whether they have been stationed in this country.
Yeah, let's leave
PDP as a party.
Let's leave it here now.
I know how you feel. They need to give APC run for their money.
I know how you feel.
It is very disheartening.
I know how you feel.
Are not happy about it.
I know how you feel, but let's leave it here for now. This discussion is certainly going to continue.
All right, let's head straight to the papers now, and I begin with the blueprint. With hiking fuel price 24 hours after new electricity tariff, federal government has betrayed Nigerians. NLC promises showdown over the 151 naira per litre price. Ipman orders members to sell at 162 naira per litre. Nigeria doomed under APC government. That's the PDP speaking there. We will be looking at that story shortly. Let's quickly move now to the front page of the Daily Times. How to unlock underutilized capital in real estate industry. Move now to the front page of the Nigerian NewsDirect. Price increase. Controversy trails 152 naira per litre of PMS. NLC PDP reps minority caucus kick. Price hike is in the best interest of Nigerians. APC speaking there. All right, the national economy saying that the federal government targets $176 billion revenue from customs automation, approves concession firm to run projects for 20 years as FEC okay's 13 billion naira for safe tar equipment upgrade in 4 airports. On the front page of the Leadership newspaper now, Angst as marketers hike fuel price to 162 naira per litre. PPMC pegs depot price at 151 naira per litre. Labour reps Nance, others reject increment. To the front page of the Daily Trust now, food security threatened as floods destroy farms. Rice, maize, sorghum, others affected. It's a major setback. Buhari, farmers confused over loans. Experts urge government to support dry season farming. All right, let's go to the front page of the Blueprint, the story that is generating a lot of reactions via whether social media everywhere right now in the country, talking about the hike in the prices of fuel 24 hours after the new electricity tariff. Ambrose, I will begin with you. Now, this is coming at such a time where a lot of Nigerians are said to be out of jobs as a result of the pandemic. There has been no increase in income, so many issues around socially and economically, and now a price hike. What scenarios do you see playing out for Nigerians?
Well, it's very low. I mean, the loom is getting larger. It's been a dark day for Nigerians. Nigerians will have to pay more in the midst of scarcity. The paradox in this is that the government itself, the leaders, the public servants, political office holders, are not cutting down on their own expenses. They are not tightening their belts, but they expect they push the burden to the common man. Each time there's an economic imbroglio, they push it to the common man to suffer. And that is what has been happening in Nigeria. It is very unfortunate that the same APC government that is now saying that is the best thing for Nigeria to have hike in fuel prices were the same people who were saying that we can buy fuel at 40 naira per litre in 2014 and 2015. That goes to show the double speak of our political leaders, because this is not good for Nigerians. In a post-corona period where a lot of the countries in the world are trying to cushion the effects of economic hardship by the coronavirus by augmenting the welfare of their people. The Nigerian government rather is interested in making the people suffer more. By increasing the electricity tariff under 24 hours, there's another increase. And these are not just mere increases. These are increases of monumental proportion, because these are what Nigerians use constantly in every day. Instead of the government to concentrate on how to ensure that we refine the products locally, this government has spent 5 years in government without fixing any refinery. The same thing with the Jonathan administration. It's also spent 6 years, it didn't fix the refinery. So it has been a kind of successive governments have made sure that refineries don't work. Why they do that and pass the hardship to the common man befuddles me. Because if you say you have the interest of the citizens as such, you won't just enjoy your citizens suffering. So it's therefore against the principle of saying that, oh, we are importing fuel. We don't have any business with importing refined petroleum products. That is why the issue of those subsidy came about. In the 80s, early 80s and mid 80s, even to the late 80s, where we are refining our products locally, we didn't have this issue of talking about issues of subsidy and rest. So Nigerians are fond of treating symptomatic things without going to the root. We won't talk about subsidy or mismanagement of subsidy or fraud in subsidy or whatever, corruption in subsidy, if we have fixed our refinery in the first place. So my stand is always this, saying that whether international market price of oil is going up, Nigerians should be celebrating, because we are earning more if international market oil price is going up. But rather, we'll be crying because we are importing refined products. We are not supposed to import refined products. And because government has failed to import to refine oil locally,
all right,
when they import, the difference should be that Nigerians will not accept this kind of increase. And all the civil societies, the labor unions, all the people that went to Ojota and other cities in Nigeria to occupy Nigeria in January 2012 should wake up now and occupy whatever they need to occupy.
All right, Ambrose, we have to bring the conversation to the studio now. Obaniyi, he is saying that, Ambrose is saying that Nigerians, those who came out the other time challenging the price hike in fuel at the time, should also come out now, and the NLC seems to be championing that as we speak, because from the reaction of the NNPC, it is saying that the government betrayed the people, and it's ready to, ensure that its voices, the voices of the citizens, are heard with regards to this, NLC rather. So what do you see playing out? Would that achieve anything? Because we have, NLC has been pushing and challenging the government with regards to this over the years, yet we still see an increase in prices.
I am not sure whether the editor of Blueprint maybe there is a typographical error or misplace of the subject. I think the headline is supposed to read, NLC has betrayed us, FG.
Really?
Not FG has betrayed us, NLC. And why I'm saying this is this. The Pengasans of this world are members of the labor union. They know what is the operation, what is operating in terms of the exchange of the crude resources, how we import. The guys that work at the port, they are members of NLC. The ULC or the electricity union of this world, they are members of NLC. The senior civil servant that works with Nigerian Electricity Regulation Commission, they are members of NLC. So if NLC is trying to play to the gallery, saying they don't have prior knowledge or prior notice that this will play out, that's a lie.
So you are certain they have prior knowledge of this?
The headline is supposed to be...
And they allowed it go?
Yes, the headline is supposed to be NLC betrayed us, FG. I'm telling you the truth.
How are you certain?
Because NLC is aware of this. Their members are people that make policies. These policies are not made by Buhari in the office there. They are civil servants that draw all these papers, that do all these calculations. They are civil servants at the port there, calculating the landing cost. They are civil servants working at CBN, looking at the exchange rates. They are civil servants working at the electricity union, looking at the mito ratio. They are civil servants then knowing how much they are taking home. They have not voiced it out that there is danger. Government needs to do this. We all sat down when the Minister for Humanitarian Affairs was distributing money, audio money to people in Zamfara, in Sokoto. Now we are going to pay back that money. And I've said it before at the beginning of this year that the only opposition we've always had in this country and the ruling party is APC and APC. Immediately APC took over, the strategists in APC are doing well. So they're able to make sure that the press is kept quiet. They are able to make sure that the civil society seems not to exist. CLO seems not to exist. NLC, that usually be a rousing lion, has now come to paper door.
These are weighty statements.
It's not about what is playing out. You and I know when Jonathan increased to 97. We know what is happening in the media. We know people that are marching at the theater, like he mentioned. We know what people are saying. We know what the then ACN spokesperson wrote. We know what the then CPC spokesperson wrote. We know people that were on the streets of Abuja. We know people that were at Chatham House in London. We know people that are at various locations saying this is a new man. I could recall Professor David Tam West mentioned that the petroleum price was supposed to go for 40 naira. That we are only subsidizing the poor. The rich, that people are making money. And you remember Konjo Wela when she warned us that when government are asking for them to pay bail, pay this, that when they form that panel to find out who are we even subsidizing, till to date, no report. Under the Lumelu of $16 billion invested in power, till today, no report. Pande is already happening in NDDC. It will go the same way. Now in January,
so invariably, you are saying there's no transparency in the aspect of the
labor union in this country as of today. I challenge them at the problem. I'm telling you, labor union, CSOs, opposition party. How do you expect PDP to be coming in from here and said, APC want to kill Nigeria? I trust Alhaji Lai Mohammed of those days. You will have seen all radio stations, all TV stations, all media house making sure that the government is put under pressure to ensure that they reduce this price. People are suffering. People have lost their job. Per capita income is what now in Nigeria. What is the level of poverty? About 83 million. Now, you have increased price of bread. Yesterday, I was at the supermarket. Price of bread was at 550 naira. So, which means that bread, which used to be a staple food for common man, cannot be got. Rice, 17,000 to 3,000. Poor man cannot get it. A model of gari from 500 to 1,800. Poor man cannot get it. Now, you are now saying electricity has gone up. And you know, in Nigeria, our consumer index is tied to cost of transportation. So absolutely. What it means is that petroleum has gone up, the price of gari, tomato, pepper, and everything will skyrocket. Yet, the salary refuses to grow. Yet, they are cutting salary. Yet, people are being sacked. But people in our mighty places, what do they say? They are giving themselves SUVs.
So the fight, the NLC
is just a paper. It's just a paper tiger. They are even paper tiger without teeth.
So Nigerians are on their own. That's what you're saying.
We have always been. When they do the 7.5, they didn't do anything. When the multi-choice increased their own, they didn't do anything. When PHCN said that even the PHCN is coming again in December to increase by mito law, and NLC said they don't know. So you could see. I've always said it. Nigeria is a reflection of the kind of leadership we have. When General Buhari and co were in their 20s, 40s, is it not the same country that the United Kingdom will write to us that they should support the parliament? Has anything changed? Is it not the same country where we are exporting out? Is it not the same country that we are giving bailout to people around us? Why is it now that everything in this country has to be funded by China? Who will pay for that? Yet again, you still come again, you concession. Whatever we are doing now, they are going to concession it again to people. refinery has never worked for almost 20 years. Yet, we are paying people in NNPC, and NNPC even have F13 to come out to tell us that they have suffered losses over this period of time. That's the corporation run by government. See, it is obvious. Nigerians are for themselves now. God for all of us. That's the situation. What I'm now saying is that CSOs, CLOs, labor unions has failed Nigerians their capacity because they are aware of this information.
Let's get Ambrose's reaction to this. Ambrose, he is saying here that Nigerians are on their own because the NLC, the CSOs, the CLOs have failed Nigerians. Is that what it is for you?
Yeah, one of my good friends will say that the problem of Nigeria is a gang up among the elites, the politicians, and the religious leaders. Yes. And that is what is happening here. But why does Nigeria continue being like this? I keep on reiterating that this is the problem of Nigerian citizens. It is the docility. We are too docile as a people, as citizens. We swallow everything. Many countries, even in West Africa, cannot tolerate even 1/10 of what Nigerians swallow every day. And that is because we think it is okay. Now, the North, the civil societies, the coalitions, they are keeping quiet because the APC government that is in power now, they were instrumental to bringing them to power and making sure they succeeded in the polls in 2015. Now, they feel they are part of the government. Now, they are kept quiet. So everybody is keeping quiet because they feel it is our own turn to rule. It is our own people that are in government. And that is what kills us in all spheres of this country. So we don't get angry when we are insulted. We don't feel uncomfortable when some policies are made. We even vexatiously defend these things. For example, look at the Water Resources Bill. A senator had the effrontery to reintroduce it, and there is even in the third reading. And then the people who elected those senators to the Abuja have not even recalled one single person. The same thing with the House of Reps member. So the politicians, public office holders, and everybody in public service will always misbehave anywhere in the world if the citizens don't hold them tightly accountable. In US, in Europe, and Canada, where we give as examples, their leaders behave because they know that if they try to misbehave, the people will protest. The people will hold them accountable. They will have recourse. They will get impeached. And that is how functional democracies work. But here in Nigeria, we keep quiet, we allow everything happen, and they will continue to happen unless the citizens say, we don't want this anymore.
Do you think this attitude, Ambrose, do you think this attitude of citizens to issues like this is born out of the fact that they do not understand their rights and their role in democracy?
Well, they understand it perfectly. They understand it. They know their powers. But the problem they have is that there's this lackadaisical attitude about them that say, we have been saying what will happen. But again, Fela, our legend in music, has always summed it up in his album, Sorrow, Tears and Blood, in his track, Sorrow, Tears and Blood, that our people are they are too afraid, they don't want to die, they have reasons to want to continue to live. Even when they are living in penury and inside abject poverty, they want to continue to play the ostrich. They'll bury their head in the sand and leave their other parts of the body, thinking that the Almighty God will come down and do something. They go to night vigils. They go to meet spiritual leaders in the night and think that our problems will go away like that. That is not how modern societies work. Modern society, even the Holy Book says that when you walk, show me your faith through your walk. So Nigerians should roll up their sleeves and be ready to, make our leaders accountable, both on all the religious front, on the political front, the social front, and the cultural front, everywhere. If we don't do that, then our sufferings are just beginning. Because if we continue like this, people will be dying of hunger and dead bodies will be lying in the streets of Nigeria if we continue this way.
If we continue this way, from what he's saying, a lot of persons will die of hunger. Your final words, because we have to wrap this up now quickly, because these are serious issues that a lot of Nigerians are really concerned about, especially when it comes to knowing their rights in a democracy.
My final words will be, one, it's only in Nigeria that the roads are not car-worthy that will pay for roadworthiness for the cars. It's only in Nigeria that government is not providing water and government will have the effrontery to call something water resources bill that those that even sink borehole to provide water for themselves will pay. And it's only in Nigeria that on the September 1st, you increase electricity, September 2nd, you increase, we don't know what's going to happen today or even till the end of the year. So what I would advise Nigeria is that it is in our hands, and it's in our hands in such a way that we are the one that chose the kind of leadership that we have at the moment. And again, nobody should come and bamboozle anybody as a civil society leader or as a CSO or as a labor leader. There is nothing, everybody is fighting for their pocket, because I am 100% sure that the labor union are involved in policy making. They even draft policy for these policy molders, and yet we are where we are. Government should be sensitive to its people. When you push a goat to the wall, if the goat does not have where to run to, just like the word of Senator Rino Melaye, very soon, the children of the poor will be asking the children of the rich, where do you get food that you are eating?
All right,
we also
Obaniyi,
need to eat.
We'll leave the conversation here now. Thank you so much, Obaniyi Akinwale. Ambrose Igboke, we must thank you as well for your time on the newspaper review this morning.
Thank you, Veronica.